In the wake of Hurricane Sandy, thousands of homeowners will look to the federal government to pick up the tab. But now the assistance program is deeply in debt. And John Stossel, who took the money for his own beachfront home, says he doesn't think the program should exist anymore. Here now to explain, John Stossel.
I'm ashamed. I'm guilty. I built a beachfront house. My father said, "Are you nuts? It's on the edge of an ocean."
Right.
And I correctly said, "But Dad, I can't lose because there's this thing called federal flood insurance. And the premiums are cheap, but... Well, there's what happened to that's the house I built." He said, "Look at all the sand I have in front of the house." And sure enough, a couple of years later, that sand washed away. And we'll show the other picture. The basement was gone. You paid for a new basement there. Thank you. I never invited you there.
Right.
But you paid for it anyway. It went out again. You paid again. The whole house went. You covered the house. This is a program that encourages relatively affluent people to build in danger.
Well, what's the evidence on that, John? You love dumping on this program. There's a lot of people who are going to be helped by this program.
So
that are not,
what?
That are not. No, wait a second. That are not on the beach. That are not on riverfronts, that are blocks in, that never anticipated that the ocean would come, that the bay would come. They've paid their premiums. They're not rich people like you were. If you're so rich, why don't you give the money back?
Well, I probably should, and I won't rip you off again. I also take Medicare, and I probably shouldn't get that
so you
either.
take Medicare, right? You take deductions on your taxes.
But
right?
you're missing the point. The
point is that you're condemning people that are taking this, that have paid their premium, that are not rich folks.
But why is the federal government selling insurance? Why was the federal government selling it? I blame the politicians. We don't have special car insurance for Lindsay Lohan. The people 4 blocks in, they don't get the federal flood insurance.
So the people that pay the premium, should they not take the money? Like you said that you should have?
I said I paid the premium. I'm going to take the money. Of course you're going to take the money.
Okay.
It's the program that shouldn't exist.
Stop the program.
Stop rewarding people for taking foolish risks.
Well, the problem is, and Peter was talking about this earlier, we're talking about the FEMA program that insures people in areas that would get flooded out. If there wasn't that kind of insurance...
There'd be private insurance.
Maybe, but right now...
There would be.
No, that's when...
The free market takes care of that.
No, it doesn't. That's why there's a federal program.
No, it's because the politicians said the private companies charge too much.
The free market has not taken care of the issue.
Well, and you think there was a reason the private companies said, "I don't think I want to."
Well, you think government has no role in anything, right?
No, government has a role in keeping us safe, in police and protecting us from foreign enemies.
Don't you think? Wouldn't you rather have
insurance?
Wouldn't you rather have the premiums? Isn't the government going to be paying off these claims one way or the other, like they did in Katrina? They paid off when there was no insurance in Katrina.
That's a mistake too. Paying off everybody. Pay off the truly needy.
This is a great debate. This is important.
But there's all this money being poured into the coasts, and it's because government subsidizes it.
Right.
And a lot of people would not have built houses along, what is clearly a dangerous, it might only happen every 50 years, but they wouldn't have built without the federal
government. If the free market provided the insurance, the premiums for people like me would have been high.
What was the benefit to the communities that people like you built? If you built there, what was the benefit to the community?
Well, you could say it created jobs. There were businesses that grew there.
Sure.
But, then why don't I just break windows? That creates jobs, too. It doesn't matter just...
Break what?
Break windows. That'll create a job for a glass.
How do they let you build that house? Let's look at that house again. I've never seen a house like that, John. I mean, how do they let you build that? You got an architect that built that thing for you?
Yeah, it was a very nice
suddenly an architectural...
I know, but it's on matchsticks. It was going to fall in.
Stilts. The government required those stilts because it was a flood area.
You know what, John? I know you collected 3 times from the federal government. It was an absolutely great deal because your insurance premium each year was how much?
A couple $100. It was very cheap.
And you wound up with thousands.
But the politicians said, we know how to price it. There won't be floods all over the country. We won't lose money on this. Now, of course, they're billions in debt. They insure more than $1 trillion worth of property.
I got a feeling this would be something great for you to talk about on your program.
And I am.
Which airs tonight over on Fox.
Is Peter Johnson Jr.
I'll be watching. I'm his biggest fan.
I'm going to bring him on and drag him.
You drag me in.
Don't worry, Peter Johnson's going to be at home yelling at his TV. Oh, you don't have electricity.
I don't have no power.